Here I am. There we go. What's up, y'all? So, had a few technical difficulties, but I think I'm on now. So I'm going to be talking about how you can lose weight and keep it off. So, if you are new, my name is Coach Steph. I'm a registered dietitian, personal trainer, and mindset transformation coach. I am going live on a platform called StreamYard. So I cannot see your name in the comments unless you click the link in the description and allow me to see your name. So I see a Facebook user said, "Hey girl, hey." Someone else said, "Hey, hello." So I cannot see your name unless you click the top in the link in the top and allow me to see your name. So I'm just putting in the various groups that I'm going live in and letting everyone know that I am live. Sometimes I have technical difficulties, but I think it's actually working now. So I am live. All right. So as you're hopping on, say hello again. Allow StreamYard to see your name so that I can address you properly. My name is Coach Steph. I'm a registered dietitian, personal trainer, and mindset transformation coach. And today we're going to be talking about 4 of the basic foundations. If you want to lose weight and you want to keep it off, this is the 4 things that you really need to focus on. Okay. So I see some people hopping on and saying hello. I see Andrea, you made it back. Thanks for coming on again. Oh, hey, Natisha. Okay. Hey, so I really want to talk about this today because I know the New Year's coming up and a lot of us have like New Year's resolutions. We're refocusing on our goals and we are recommitting. And so I tend to I like this time. Some trainers are like, you get the people that come in January and they're not doing anything by February. But I actually really like this time because I feel like we need to have more times where we can refocus and reset our intention. Times like this is very, very important. So don't think that just because okay, it's a new year and it's really cliche for everyone to start their weight loss journey or restart their weight loss journey. Like this really can be the time that, okay, I'm walking into who I really am and who I really want to show up in the world as in 2022. The key is not to just do this in January, right? The key is to do this and have a refocusing and a recommitment to your goals much more than once a year, more like once a month, right? So I really want to talk about if you have been struggling, you've been losing weight, gaining it back, you've been feeling like you're failing, you've been off track or inconsistent, or just feeling like, dang, I keep having this same problem, right? You keep having this same issue, this same roadblock, or you get to, right at 205 and you're trying to get, into the 100 and you just can't seem to get there. This is for you. Okay. And so, what I always like you guys to take away from when I come on live and on my Facebook groups, I have done many, many lives in the events tab. So if you have not checked those out, you need to go back and watch those, some of them, because there's a lot. But I always want you to take away something. So while you are listening, I want you to take away 1 or 2 things, not 10, but 1 or 2 things that you can actually say, okay, I'm going to take some action on this. Okay. And so that's one of the reasons why whenever I post these, I typically will post a link. And right now I have a 5-day mini series to help you get motivated and learn how to take action, no matter how you're feeling, no matter when life happens or how life happens. It teaches you how to take action and take small action and get consistent with that. Okay. It teaches you how to get motivated because you're responsible for creating that motivation and then be able to be consistent. Okay. So if you're struggling with figuring out how can I finally get consistent? Like, how can I make progress in my goals even when life happens, then definitely make sure you check out that link and download my app. So you get to download my app. It's the same coaching app that my clients use. And you'll be in there. I think I opened it up for 7 days. So when you download it, because I've had so many people download the app and I say, oh, okay, somebody joined, and then they don't take action right away. They don't download the app and like look at it. You actually have to download it and look at it. So go to your email, download the app, and then each day you'll get a little video and mini series, and I'll teach you how you can create that motivation and stay consistent. So let me know if y'all are interested in that or if you can't find that. Let's see. Let me get my notepad. Yes. I refocus once a month. Something always happens to catch me off guard. Yeah. And so that once a month is really like the hard reset, right? So that's like really taking some time and clearing some mental space and like really sitting down and kind of refocusing. And what I have my clients do is every week we have a check-in process. So where they go back to their goals, their mantra that I have them create, their emotional why, and they have them reflect and plan. And so that's really important. So I kind of want to get into that. So there's a lot I could say, and I had told myself I was going to start making these lives a little bit shorter. But 4 foundations. I'm going to go over these 4 foundations in an overview because you guys asked some really great questions in the group. So I'm actually going to spend most of the time answering you guys' question. But as I get started here, I'm going to kind of go through my own philosophy of how I think about like how you can build a successful lifestyle of just living healthy. We want it to just feel like a habit, right? To be a habit, to be something that's not like an uphill battle, so that you can get on with life without having to constantly focus on losing weight, put so much energy into like, watching what you're eating and doing a diet and so much effort, so that you can just like be and go to school and get a start your business or write a book, like get on with your life, right? Rather than everything be about trying to lose 20 pounds or whatever. So the very first thing that you really have to consider is your environment. So when I say environment, I mean people and places. Okay. So people and places are what is going to determine whether or not you will be able to create a lifestyle of healthy living, of maintaining your weight. Let me explain what I mean by that. Places, right? So your home, your work, right? And wherever else you spend a lot of time, you need to make sure that those are safe places for you to be. And those are places where you understand how to manage your temptations, your risk, manage your energy, right? And so in terms of the kitchen, being at, your home, right? You want to make sure that your home is a safe place for you to be. Do you need to detox your kitchen? Do you need to just put away the cookies, chips, and whatever else that your family might be eating so that it's not on the kitchen counter? Now, let's talk about the fact that if you're on a health journey and you have kids and a husband, it's going to be really important that y'all kind of meet in the middle, because it's not a good sign. This is not sustainable for the mom to be on a diet and meal prepping and cooking healthy foods, and then everybody else is eating something different. Like, really, that's not sustainable, because however you get to achieve your weight loss goals is how you can keep it. And if you're doing something that's only temporary, you're going to get temporary results. And so think about how you can mesh like you living healthy with whatever else your kids and your husband are going to be eating. Sometimes there has to be a meeting of the minds. And And understand, like, you don't have to just eat like little nuts and berries and just lettuce either, right? So you can have healthy food, you can have satisfying food that is good for the whole family, so that you can be this, you can build this lifestyle, because it's not really sustainable for you to be eating something and then all the rest of your family eating something else. That's not sustainable. And so people and places. So is your home and is your workplace conducive for your goals? And if not, what are the changes that you can control? So I know, like, at work, you might not be able to control the fact that, people bring in cookies and cake and treats at work, right? You may not be able to control what other people are bringing, but you can start managing your own mind, which is step 2 of the 4 foundations, managing your own mindset, but building a foundation to where this is who you are. This is not something that you're just doing for a little while, right? This is your identity, and kind of building that identity. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But are the people around you conducive to your goals? Your family, your friends? You will succumb to the expectations of your peers. If you are constantly, if you have, no friends that are on the same health journey, and they're just kind of eating whatever, they're inviting you to happy hour, they're, sitting around and not exercising, like that is not, it's not going to help you. And it's definitely not going to help you to get a sustainable lifestyle change. So how can you put yourself in structured relationships, whether it be a gym, whether it be a class, whether it be a meetup group, where you have some people that are on the same journey as you? That's really, really important, because for a lot of y'all, like, it's not going to take just 3 months. It's going to take probably 6 months to a year for you to get off, like, all the weight that you want to get off. So that's a long time. So you need to build people and places that are going to be conducive to your goals. And setting up your environment also includes, like, having healthy foods around, making sure that you're picking out your workout clothes, right? Once a week. If you want to work out 4 times a week, you want to make sure, okay, I already have that in my car, right? So there's no excuses. I can just go to the gym. I can put my water in my water bottles and they're already set out and ready. So I'm going to drink more water when I have a water bottle on my desk than if my water is, down the hall and I have to go get up and get it every time, right? So how are you setting up your environment? How would that look for you? Okay. So environment's number 1. Number 2 is mindset. So your identity is huge. A lot of you, when I talk to potential clients, they'll say, I'm scared that I'll be doing good, but then I won't be consistent. And really, that's an identity crisis. It's like, who you are and who you're identifying as is not the person that you want to be. And so there's a separation there. And so we have to think about, how can I start embodying this person that I want to be, and not look at myself as like somebody who's trying to lose weight, right? I don't want to be someone who's trying to lose weight. Like, I want to be someone who shows up as a healthy individual and who doesn't have to put a ton of time and effort into weight loss, right? Now, it's not that it's not going to take you any time and effort, but for sure, like, you don't want it to be so consuming that it takes over your life. So mindset, this includes many, many things. So I'm going to go over just a few. Number 1, bullying yourself, because some of us are bullies to ourselves and we have this negative dialogue, and you will never get a positive result thinking negative, being mean to yourself, telling yourself that you're a failure, telling yourself that, you're not going to be able to be consistent or to maintain your results, right? Or saying ugly things to yourself in the mirror, right? I've had several clients who are just mean to themselves when they look in the mirror and go to the mirror to bully themselves, or who won't even look in the mirror because they don't like what they see, right? Mindset also includes focusing on solutions rather than problems. So I want you to monitor your dialogue. Are you spending more time talking and thinking about problems? Or are you spending more time talking and thinking about solutions? Right? So when you start to complain, or if you just notice your self talk, notice your talk throughout the day, are you spending more time complaining about problems, or are you spending more time creating solutions? Okay, I want you to start training your brain to be more solution oriented. Self coaching. So, self coaching is a technique that I teach my clients, is a life coaching technique that I teach them to be able to overcome that procrastination, overcome that negotiation, overcome that negative self talk. And it's just a very simple construct. So, to where when I'm not around, when you're not on a call with me, you can say, okay, you can talk to your own brain, you can get yourself to take action more consistently. Right. And so, that mindset also includes the concept of like stopping and starting. A lot of us have like a black and white mindset when it comes to our weight loss. We have to either be all the way on or all the way off. And that is just self sabotage, because there is a gray area and there is ebbs and flows. Like some weeks it will be better than others. So just consider that part of the process rather than thinking that, oh my God, I'm failing, so let me start over. Okay. So part of that is what I talk about in the Mindset Motivation Made Easy, where it's a 5-day mini series inside of my coaching app where I teach you how to refocus on your goals and to get consistent by teaching you how to think a little more consistently and be able to self-coach a little bit better. So we talked about environment, mindset, and nutrition. So nutrition is number 3. I could go into a lot here, but you need to make sure that your plan for nutrition, number 1, you have a plan. All the diets work, y'all. There's not one like best diet. I'm not an advocate, me personally, for restriction or starving yourself, skipping meals, or, taking out food groups. But whatever you do, it needs to be simple and it needs to be satisfying, because you don't want to go on a diet and you're eating foods that you don't like, you're starving yourself, you feel hungry all the time, right? And so some part of weight loss might be that you might be a little bit hungry, but in no way do you have to starve yourself in order to lose weight. So Natasha says, I've gotten so much better with that. That's good. No more junk talking in my head. That's really great. I love that. So simple and satisfying with your nutrition. So after you eat, you should be like, okay, yes, I feel better. And so that always includes some lean protein, y'all. Like I can go over what to put on your plate. It's going to be a little bit different for everybody, but lean protein and veggies, you can't really go wrong with that. So with nutrition, keep it simple. You can start by just reducing your portions. Like if you change nothing and just reduce the portions that you put on your plate, you could see progress, right? And then you can start from there, changing the quality of your diet. So maybe instead of having those fries, I'm going to have veggies instead, right? And just start making simple swaps, eating more veggies, eating more lean protein, but make sure you have a plan. So one thing that you can do, so sometimes planning is overwhelming to people. So what you could do is just write down everything that you eat. So do it in reverse, essentially. Like that's just to start. Write down everything that you eat, or take a photo of it, right? You can do a photo journal too. And then you can say, okay, what needs to be tweaked from what I ate this week? What can I change next week? And just start from there. Make it simple. Small, simple changes, okay? So environment, mindset, nutrition, and movement. So these are the 4 pillars of sustainable weight loss. Environment, your people and your places. Are they conducive to your goals? Your mindset, which encompasses a whole lot of different concepts, but mostly like your identity, and your self-coaching. Nutrition, making it simple and satisfying, and then your movement. So exercise is great, y'all. I want you to lift. I want you to lift progressively heavier, right? Every 4 to 6 weeks, you should be increasing your weights 2 to 5 pounds, right? And so 3 or 4 days of exercise, but on your non-exercise days, y'all, this is really important. You need to still be active 30 minutes. That could be taking a walk. It could be jump rope. It could be hula hoop. It could be doing a dance video on YouTube. Like on your non-exercise days, you have to still be active and like do something. Doesn't have to be a full-blown exercise, but check and see how many steps that you have, right? And try to just beat yourself, right? Play a game with yourself or get into a Fitbit challenge, whatever. And ditch the all or nothing mentality. So there might be weeks where you only got in 2 workouts, but you can go on a walk, right? Maybe you go on more walks on the days that you can't get all of your workouts in. Does that make sense? Okay. So those are my 4 foundations. I'm actually going to, or not record, but answer y'all's questions from the Facebook group. And I said I was only going to be on here 30 minutes, and I've already talked to 30 minutes, Lord. Okay. I see some people saying I'm still waiting. Ladies, I'm live, exclamation point. Go to the group and refresh your browser or search for my name, and hopefully the live will pop up. Okay. All right. So let me just go to answering some of you guys' questions. So Rebecca said, I work out, but not much. I need to get consistent with that part. Okay. So being consistent really is the most important thing. Did you say at least 3 to 4 days of exercise? Yes. So I definitely recommend for my clients, the goal is 4 days of about 45 minutes of exercise. But let's say you haven't worked out for years. Start with 2 days. Then gradually increase to 3, and then gradually increase to 4. For some people, that 4 is a stretch, so you can start where you're at. So Rebecca said, basically she wants to get consistent. So consistency is all about mindset. And so if you're struggling with consistency, I would highly recommend going ahead and downloading that 5-day mini series in my app, because it'll help you. We talk about motivation, but in order for you to get consistent, you have to understand how to inspire yourself to get motivated and consistently overcome the resistance to whatever your action step is. And that's where you build the self-discipline. Because at the end of the day, it takes self-discipline, but I have a strategy for teaching you, like, okay, this is how you can think yourself into results. If y'all know that, I think it's a Napoleon Hill book, Thinking Yourself into Results. It all starts in your mind. So Rebecca, consistency is all about mindset. So Shannon said, how do I keep the motivation? I've done 12-week programs, but after they were over, I gradually go back to old habits. So Shannon, so Jonay, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I will put it, I'll put it up in just a second. I know YouTube, I don't ever go live on YouTube, so y'all might not have it. So I'll show you. Okay, so if this is you, if you've ever done a program and you're like, okay, I'm doing good on the program, and then the program ends, and then you're like, so you slowly start to shrink back into your own, like, your old habits. This is an identity issue. If you can do it for 12 weeks, right? If you can, like, it's not about being perfect in the 12 weeks, but you have to see yourself as the person who has the result, right? So it's the difference between someone trying to stop smoking and somebody identifying as a non-smoker, right? Like, You have to create and understand why you're working for your goal and be able to consistently re-anchor to that and say, okay, every week, why is it that this is important to me? You got to know why this is important to you. And it's not about a bikini most of the time, y'all. When I have sales calls with people, it's mostly lots of tears because we say it's like, oh, I want to get skinny for my birthday or whatever. But that's not a deep enough why for to make you be consistent for life, right? Like you got to find a why that really matters to you. So for me, I've always been an athlete and I see myself 38 years old. I see myself as an athlete. So on those times where I'm just like, ugh, I do not feel like going nowhere. It's cold outside. I visualize myself doing it. I visualize the body that I want and how I want to age, right? Like that matters to me. I don't want to be immobile. I don't want to be hurting myself every 5 seconds. I don't want diabetes. Like I envision the woman that I want to be, how I want to show up, right? Um, and that gets me going. I'm like, this is who I am. I'm an athlete. I haven't played college basketball in years, but in my mind, I'm an athlete and this is what I do. And that gets me up. So, what is it for you? Tell me in the chat. What is it for you? What is your motivation? Where does it come from? It's got to be deep, y'all. It can't be superficial. You got to understand that number one, because most of my audience is Black women. So let's get real a second. And I get real passionate about this part. Black people, we don't live as long as other people. Okay? Because of many factors, but we can only control what we can control. You can control what goes into your mouth, right? Like you can control how much you're moving. Some other factors in the United States we can't really like worry about, but this is an emergency for us. A lot of us, as we're aging, we have family histories of diabetes, heart disease, like kidney issues, hypertension, right? And it dawned on me the other day that I'm 38 and I'm almost 40, and it just hit me in a different way. I was like, I'm almost 40. I used to think that people who were 40 were like so old, and when you were young, you're like, oh my God, 40. I'm like, I'm just getting started. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I want to live and I want to be mobile and I want to be vibrant and I want good skin and I want muscles and I want to be safe in my body, meaning like I don't want to have diabetes. I don't want to be on medication. Right? I want to be around for my grandkids. Like these are real serious reasons. So don't wait until something happens. Don't wait until you have a heart attack. Don't wait until, something medical happens and then all of a sudden you got to get yourself together. No, like figure out your why and revisit that over and over and over again. Have a time every week to revisit your why again. Anyway, I get passionate about that part. My motivation is my health. Me too. My motivation is to see my son married and his family, and also just to live healthy. Yes, that's a good why. Like, so when you think about that, Andrea, so I'll be calling you Andrea and Andrea. So I don't know how you pronounce your name. When you think about that, I want to see my son married and I want to see, his family, your grandkids, I'm assuming. Does that not light a fire under you? Right? Does that not like make you just be like, strive a little harder, right? And so like if you're unmotivated and you're in the bed and you're like, okay, I need to go take my walk, but you need to re-anchor back to that. Because sometimes we just got to get tenacious with it. Like, there's a difference between being judgmental about with ourselves and shaming ourselves and shoulding ourselves and saying, oh, I'm a failure, right? And there's a different energy from that to being tenacious and just being like, this is a priority. This is what I'm doing. We go to work, a lot of us, every day, and we don't want to go. So I know I had read a couple of questions like, how do you do it anyway, even when you don't want to? We do that all the time. We go to work with a boss that we can't stand every day for years, and when we don't want to. So how is it that you can do that, right? Think about that. Like, why do we really need motivation to take care of the very body that we live in? Is that not motivation enough, right? So my motivation is not to carry on family health illness. Yes, and be a role model for my kids. I wrote down my true why. With wanting to be consistent in my health, I have to read every day, stick to my goals. I notice a difference when I don't read it. Yes. And so what I have my clients do is a power hour, which is not a whole hour. I ask them to give me 10 minutes a day in the morning where they can refocus on their goals, where they can start and get inspired, raise their energy level, which is to me when I say motivation, I mean like raising your energy level enough to spark you to take some action. It doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't always have to be massive action. It can just be like, how can I get 1% better today? Right? So when you're down and you're like, okay, life is happening and I don't feel like this, or I'm on my period and I'm like, ugh. If you focus on all of that, it's going to be very hard for you to make progress. But if you say, okay, how could I get 1% better today? Like if that was my goal, what would that look like today? And that is a whole different energy. How can I get 1% better today? That just points you in the right direction. That's all you need. That's it. It doesn't have to be massive, right? You can take a little bit of action every day. So I love that. I want to avoid health issues. I see in my parents and my grandparents. I want to be able to do things with my granddaughter. Oh, only 6 months. Oh, to be happy and healthy. Yes, it's emergency. Just found out lupus is in our family. Motivation is to live healthier lifestyle. Mindset seems to be as important. Oh, for sure. So mindset, that's why I coach on mindset, because if you can get your mind behind anything, because the circumstance, a lot of times my clients are like, oh my God, I haven't worked out or I didn't meal prep. I'm like, okay, why is that a problem? Why does that have to be a problem for you right now? Like, how is that relevant to you right now? What can you do right now to get 1% better? Right? All you have to know is the very next step. You don't have to know every single step in between. But consistently, like I said earlier, focus on solutions, not focusing on the problem. Okay. So Shannon got me all into the motivation. I could talk about that all day. Alethea. So what is the difference between low carb and calories? Calorie counts. Okay. Is calorie count better? Okay. So at the end of the day, to lose fat, you have to be in a calorie deficit. So there's multiple ways that people try to get to that calorie deficit. So you eat less calories and you move more, you burn more calories, right? That's how you create that calorie deficit. So the way that people eat less, sometimes people starve themselves. They, skip a meal. Sometimes they intermittent fast. Sometimes they cut out carbs, right? So that's where the low carb comes in. So it's just a way to cut out calories. So the low carb is just one of the many ways that you can cut calories in order to get to that calorie deficit. Let me know if that makes sense, Alethea. So essentially, a calorie deficit is required for fat loss. And then there are multiple ways to get to that calorie deficit, and one of those includes low carb. So let me know if that makes sense. All right. So um, let's see. I'm going to go to Black Women Work Out and go to this event because I know y'all had a lot of questions over there. Okay. So first question, how can we maintain our weight in a healthy manner? Those are the 4 foundations. Make sure you set up your environment for success. And that's going to look a little bit different for everyone, but think about how you can make it more simple to do the things that are going to support your goals, and how can you make it more inconvenient to do the things that may not support your goals, right? So it's just a difference between like having Oreos on your counter versus having an apple on your counter, right? If you have Oreos on your counter, guess what you're going to eat? More likely some Oreos. So that's just like a simple example of like how you can set your environment up for success. You got to understand your mindset and know how to self-coach and how to battle any negative self-talk, procrastination, etc. You got to make a simple plan for your nutrition, and you have to move. And you have to plan all of that, y'all. Plan it and then be flexible with the plan. Plan it, but then if you miss something, it's okay. Let's reschedule it. And if you can't, just make it up, the next week. It's not that big of a deal. What I see is the biggest problem is that people think something is a problem. And so then it's a problem, right? Oh, I didn't meal prep. That doesn't have to be a problem. But because you think it's a problem, you let that keep you from eating well because it didn't go according to your expectations. But a lot of times as Black women, we're setting expectations that are perfection. And then when we don't hit perfection, then we think we failed. So that's the bigger issue, is not that it's not perfect. It's just that you think that you being imperfect is a problem. All right. So someone said, is this an Herbalife Selves group? No. Is kale really the answer? Because if it is, I don't know how dedicated I can be to this. No, there's not one best diet. There's not one food that you have to have. There's not one exercise that you have to do. You need to be consistent with the things that you already know how to do. You need to be consistent with that. And consistency only means doing it most of the time. Doesn't mean perfection. It just means like 70, 80% of the time that you say, I'm going to do something, you do it. That's it. So no, kale is not the end all be all. My emotions get the best of me. How can I keep that in check and maintain my weight loss? So I teach my clients a emotional eating strategy. And essentially, you want to make sure you're managing your mind. You understand your triggers and why you're having those emotions, dealing with those emotions, and then picking a replacement behavior and saying, okay, I'm going to go take a walk instead for 5 minutes. And then after I come back, if I still want the thing, eat the thing. Enjoy it, eat it slowly. Don't binge, right? Eat a decent portion, but then the next time this comes up, go and do your replacement behavior for 6 minutes and then reevaluate. And then the next time this comes up, do it for 7 minutes and continue to extend what I call delaying that emotional eating until you can delete it. So delay to delete. So practice extending the time over, several weeks to where you can deal with your emotions during that time, during that period, versus going to go eat, right? And then also just making sure you're not hungry. Like a lot of times we might be emotional, but we also just might be hungry. So, eat your meal prep and kind of spoil your appetite a little bit. How do you stay away from sugar? Same thing. Delay to delete. How do you continue to do water intake? What's the correct amount? So the goal for most people is going to be half your body weight in water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, your goal is usually about 100 ounces. That's a good goal for you. So how do you continue to get enough water? Set up your environment for success. right? Like if you know you're struggling getting in your water, what's going to make it easier? What's going to make it simpler for you? Do you need to buy water bottles from the store? Do you need to fill up water cans in your, water pitchers in your refrigerator? Do you need to carry a water bottle with you in your purse? Like, does your water need to be cold? Maybe you need to go buy like a Yeti cup so that it can be cold. Because I personally am not drinking no room temperature water. Maybe you need to, have it at your desk. Like, how can you set up your environment to make it a little bit easier? Do you need to set a timer, right? Like troubleshoot. How can you make this easier? And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to get to that goal every single day, but that's how you continue to just make it a priority. How can long-term weight loss affect high blood pressure and diabetes? So if you are overweight or if your BMI is high, and you have either risk factors for, or you have diabetes or high blood pressure, reducing your weight can be beneficial. So for diabetes, when you lose even just like a few pounds, like 5 or 10 pounds, it can help with insulin resistance, which is going to help your diabetic condition. So, lifting weights can also help because you are building muscle mass with diabetes, and it also helps with just weight loss in general. And so it's the same thing for high blood pressure. If you have those risk factors, or if you actually have those diseases, lowering your body fat percentage is going to be very beneficial. So Joanna said, where do I start? Is it realistic for me to measure my food? So what I would say, start here. Do an audit of what you're already doing. For 1 week, write down how many times you're working out, what you're eating. You can either write down what you ate every day or take a photo of what you're eating every day. Like, so for a week, just take a photo of what you're eating. At the end of that week, look at all your photos of your food and say, okay, do I see lots of fast food? Do I see lots of fried food? Do I see any veggies? What are my portions looking like? And tweak from what you're already doing. That's the simplest, easiest place to start. And then, is it realistic for me to measure my food? You can determine that. Like if you know that you're not going to, make that a priority, or if that's like a barrier for you, it doesn't have to be a barrier. Portion control, you said, how do I start? Protein, the size of your palm, right? Same thickness and size of your palm. So you want to eat protein every single time you eat, y'all. Every time you eat, you want some protein. And then lots and lots of veggies. I'll let my clients have as many non-starchy veggies as they would like. And then keep your carbohydrate portions to a half a cup per meal. Start there. That's a really simple way to start. Okay. Protein in every meal, half a cup for your starchy veggies, and then eat as many non-starchy veggies as you would like. What are the first things to cut out of my diet if I'm trying to eat healthy? I never, ever tell my clients cut out stuff. I never say that. And so that's mindset, Joanna. So I hope that you were able to find this live, because that is mindset and that is diet culture, to say, what is it that I need to cut out? Do you see how you're focusing on restriction? You're focusing on what you can't have. I want you to be solution oriented and say, what are the things that I can add to my diet? Can I add more water? Can I add more veggies? Can I add more protein? Can I add more sleep? Can I add more, things that bring me joy to bring my stress level down? I want you to be focusing your thoughts and your energy and your attention on solutions and what you can have versus focusing on what you can't. Y'all let me know if this is making sense, right? Do you see the difference between like me saying, okay, what do I cut out? Like, if you're focusing on what you can cut out, you're not focusing on all the things that you can have. I want you to focus on all the stuff that you can have, because when you're focused on that and you're planning that out, that will naturally displace all the things that you're not supposed to have, or that are unhealthy or not going to support your goals. It'll naturally just displace that. If you know, like, oh, I got to get half my body weight in water, I'm making that a priority. What you're not doing is focusing on soda, lemonade, tea, right? Okay, so do you have a video about types of exercises and what's best? So if you mean a video about types of exercises, when I coach my clients, I give them workouts that are video demos, and I give them a workout to do. But here's the thing. There isn't one best exercise. There's not one best exercise program. The most important thing, because it almost doesn't matter what you do, y'all. If you can be consistent with HIIT or cycling or walking or Zumba, or if you can just get consistent with something 3 to 4 times a week, you can see results. But the problem is we get stuck in what's the best diet, what's the best food to eat, what's the best exercise, and then we do nothing, right? Or we are constantly like trying different stuff here, trying this, I don't like that, let me try this, and we're inconsistent. If you can get something, whatever you enjoy, figure out what you enjoy, like literally write down, what do I enjoy doing, and what do I see myself doing like long term, whether it's walking, whether it's Zumba, whether it's doing high intensity intervals, whether it's weight training, right? If you can't do HIIT, right? Maybe you can't do high intensity interval training, but you can do some weightlifting, do that. If that's enjoyable to you, 3 to 4 times a week, get in there, get the muscles. That is going to be more important than trying to figure out like the best thing, because there isn't a best. There isn't a best thing. Okay. What other questions do y'all have? Let me see if there's anything else. I really liked these questions though, y'all. Any other questions? I'm actually going to drop this link because I know someone on YouTube asked. Any other questions? What other questions do y'all have about sustainable lifestyle changes? So I could tell y'all 1,000,002 things, okay? But that's really not important, right? Like, there's always going to be more tips. I could tell you tip after tip after tip after tip. The most important thing is that you're actually implementing the tips that you already know. Okay, so I just dropped the link to the motivation. So you get 7 days. The mini series is 5 days, but you get 7 days access. So if you download this, go and check your email today and just get started. It's very short. Each day for 5 days is very short, but I did it this way because you don't have like months and months to do this. It's 5 days. Get in there, download the app. I'll be in there too, and I'll be commenting on your stuff. But it teaches you how to take action. So I just dropped that in the comments. Any other questions, you guys? Has it been an hour? I am so bad. I'm going to try to make these shorter, y'all. Oh, okay. So I have 1,000,001 tips. But like I said, the most important thing is for you to implement. So what's one thing that you can take away that you can implement? It doesn't matter if it's big or small. The smaller, to be honest, the better. What is one thing that you can do, whether it's in your environment and setting your environment up for success, whether it's in your mindset and your self-talk, whether it's in your nutrition and making a simple and satisfying plan, or if it's in your activity, working out 3 or 4 times a week and walking or doing some sort of movement on your non-workout days for 30 minutes? What is something simple that you can do? I want you to commit to that. Put it in the chat. I think I can still see comments. Write down what you're going to commit to. And if you are someone who's serious, y'all, about no more BS, no more restriction, no more up and down, I want to create the body that I want for good, because when I coach you, you will think differently forever. Because I'm not just going to give you a meal plan and a workout and tell you to go have at it. We're going to coach for real. So if you are looking for a one-on-one coach, I am open for one-on-one coaching, 12 weeks with an option to extend, because I believe in getting you all the way to your goal. But the first 12 weeks is not even intense, but it'll me and you one-on-one. We working on your goals and really digging into your mindset. If you're interested in that, just DM me, or you can check out some of the links in my profile and apply for one-on-one coaching. Okay, so focus on solutions. I love that, Andrea. I have to increase my activity. Okay, so I can't see your name, but a few things you can do. Decide, I'm going to work out, 2 or 3 times a week. I was talking about this last week about undergoaling. Undergoaling means your goal might be, okay, I want to work out 4 or 5 times a week, right? But if you're struggling to get to the gym, I want you to set a goal that's your brain tells you is too easy, like 2 times a week. And you'd be like, that's not enough. That's the goal that you need to pick to start off. Because when you hit that, your brain is like, okay, she can be consistent. She set this goal and she actually did what she said she was going to do. Okay. So set those goals. So focus on solutions, increase your activity, increase your water, 30 minutes a day. What is Demina? What is Demina? Is that your name? I'm not sure. Hi, Demina, if that's you. All right. So link is in the comments. And if you're offering, or if you're wanting one-on-one coaching, you can message me about that too. So thank y'all for watching. I will be on every Monday at 6 p.m. CST. So this is going to be my new time. Every Monday, 6 p.m. CST, you will see me doing some sort of training on nutrition, mindset, or fitness. Teaching you how to build your nutrition, how to think and how to get consistent, overcome procrastination, rebuild your identity and your self-image, or understanding your nutrition. So thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, ladies.